friends, book friends, other friends. Welcome back to my book channel. I know I never talked about October. I'm here to talk about October. I'm here to talk about what I read in November. It's gonna be an interesting video because between the 2 months I read quite a bit. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 books between 2 months. So quite a bit. So let's get started with October. So I read The House Across the Lake because it was October, it was fall, it was spooky. I know it was good. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, we're gonna go with 4 stars. Like, overall good book. It was just kept talking about the lake and it was just very weird though. Actually, let's give it 3.5 because it was really weird how she like spied on her neighbor, and then like it kept saying like, oh, the house is like half a mile, or not, like a quarter mile away, but she had these very powerful binoculars so that spied on her neighbor, and she was only sent to the lake house as like a punishment kind of from her mother because she acted out and stuff, because there had been rumors flying about her, and then something had happened with her husband, and it was just like, okay, interesting, but ultimately no, I wasn't feeling it. Then I did read The Last Word. I gave that 3. Good book, but it was just like, too unrealistic. Why was she trapped in the house? That didn't make any sense. Like, I mean, maybe it makes sense for the story, but it's just, as on a realism scale, it doesn't make sense. So there was that one. I read Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I gave it 5 stars. It was cute. It was fun. Like, nothing crazy happened with the romance plot in it. Like, everything. It just was a cute, fun read for October. I really enjoyed it. Like, these little witches, and they're trying to figure out how to use their powers. They're new, obviously, to being witches, and it's just like, it was just really cute and fun to read. I recommend it. Awkward in October? No, I do not recommend that book. 2 stars. Like, it's okay. Like, I got through it, but it was just like, I got through it. I did not feel any connection there, and I think that was the book. Since this has been so long ago, I don't remember. Yes, it was this book. This book, it like had this really bad scene in it where the two the love interests of the books were like, it was trying to get to like a spice scene or something, but it started talking about how some food that she had eaten earlier in the day, like, it did not end up well, and there was like bodily functions talked about that do not need to be discussed in books, and it was just very gross, and I felt very off-put by that. So I don't ever want to read anything like that again. Wow. I've read The Haunting of Beechdale Mansion, which I technically read that one late October into November. It was very hard to get through that. I do remember it was very, very difficult to get through. Like, 2 stars. The actual mystery was not that good. And, I mean, it talked a lot about the mansion, and not as much about what had happened to the family. Like, it talked about the family, and then there's this one point in the middle of the book where it went over everything that had just happened throughout that entire book in the, like, 2 chapters, and I'm like, I just read this entire book. I didn't need a recap here in this middle section, but okay. I guess the author needed more words, maybe. I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. Mr. October, that was like a very short like novella. Goodness gracious, can I speak? Yes. It was a short novella, and I mean by short I mean like 80 pages. I think I read it in an hour. So for being such a short book, it was just like, oh, they're at this school and they have to set up like a school function, and for being such a short book, it had like a spice scene in it too. It wasn't completely as cringy as the Awkward in October one, but it was, for such a short book, I don't think it needed to be in there. But anyway, because like that was like the last 5 to 10 pages of the book, I think it was in there. Suddenly, of this like little short 80-page novella basically, and I was just like, it just didn't feel right. And I get it, it's a short book. You can't get too much chemistry in such a short book. But I mean, I kind of wish it could have been longer. I think it was so short, I couldn't really determine what it would be rated. Maybe 3.5, maybe. But again, too short to really know, for me to really feel anything. And then I read Resting Witch Face, The Witches of Madison County. It was like the first book of that like series. It was interesting. It had an interesting mystery plot to it. I think I rated it 3.5, maybe 4 stars. It was okay. Like, do I want to continue with the series? Maybe in October of next year, but it's not something I'm going to continue outside of October. It just didn't feel like so good that I want to continue the series right away. But we will be talking about those soon. And then I picked up In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. That book, okay, so as you know, Rebecca Yarros is the author who wrote Fourth Wing and now Iron Flame. And so I decided to read one of her romance novels called In the Likely Event. It felt very long to me. Like, not gonna lie. It's just like, I gave it 3 stars. Like, it's okay. I'm not sure I would read another one by her, but like it was fine. It just felt very long, and it had the backdrop of the bad Afghanistan withdrawal that happened back in 2021, 22. Oh my God! Wow. See, I don't actually remember, but it had that backdrop, and it's like somebody from the senator's staff went to Afghanistan to help with the withdrawal, like with the State Department, or kind of like with the State Department and stuff. But then it turns out there's a subplot of the guy, the soldier, that is set to protect her, of course, turned out to be her former love interest at one point. And so she's like, I'm not going to let myself get attached to him. I think he's great, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on like that and on like that forever. And then finally, at the end of the book, they finally do end up together. And it's like, finally at the end, it's just like, oh, finally, now you're going to end up together? Okay, well, it's just 3 stars, because there's this one part where it's just like, she isn't listening, and it became a dangerous situation, and I mean, obviously that's a pretty dangerous situation, and the Afghanistan withdrawal, and I was like, you're not listening. You need, like, I was just trying to, like, if I could have been there, I would have been yelling at her. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, so that was October. I didn't get to all the reads that I wanted to in October, but that's okay. Then November, I did quite a bit of November. I didn't read as much on my Kindle in November for whatever reason. It just didn't happen. But I got through 6 of Crows, and when I say I got through 6 of Crows, I mean, it was just like, basically I had finished, okay, actually let's back up to the first book I read in November. So November. The first book, of course, as you probably know, the book Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. One second. This book, oh my gosh. What? I need to do an entire another spoiler vlog of this book later. Once I want to go back through and like reread the parts, especially that I was kind of like, what? But this book, oh my god, 5 stars. 5 stars again. Rebecca Yarros. Stick with this. Stick with stuff like this, because oh my gosh. Just what? I got through this in the weekend. Like, I got it on the release date, and I got through it by that weekend because of work and everything. But like, oh my gosh, like I did an unboxing video of this book. Loved it. I got through it so fast. I mean, the text is tiny, and it was 615. No, nope, 623, and they ending. Ooh, what? Rebecca, why? But like, okay, loved. 5 stars, easy. I also read November 9 by Colleen Hoover, like right afterwards. Like, well, not like immediately right afterwards, but like basically, I finished this book on the Saturday at like 1:30 in the afternoon. The Saturday of the week that it was released. And then I felt like I wanted another fantasy series. So I thought, okay, well, I'm supposed to read Six of Crows this month, so let's read that because it was a fantasy series or whatever. It was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It's not as good as Iron Flame by any stretch. I mean, it's, wow. There were some interesting things that happened, and I think because I went through Iron Flame and it was so good, and oh my gosh, and like the amount of shock value that was in that book and the amount of feeling that I had and everything for that book might have potentially affected the rating for Six of Crows, because it was harder to pay attention to that book than it was to Iron Flame. It's possible that's what happened, but overall, I just think it was just like 3 stars. And then after that, I read November 9th, which was a little like romance book, kind of. Not like it's like this girl's, a tragic event happened years ago, and this guy, and like she's talking to her dad about it in a restaurant, and then this guy randomly is like, whoops. Ooh, sorry. So she's at the restaurant talking to her father, and her father's like, oh, you're not going to be able to act because of the thing that happened to you, blah, blah, blah. And this guy comes in and he goes, oh, hi, I'm so sorry I'm late, honey. And it's like, he acts like he's her boyfriend. It's like the fake dating thing. And it's just like, oh. And just like the way the book was, it wasn't like super cringy. But then the plot twist, I was not expecting that. I was like, what? No, what? Wasn't expecting it. I gave it 4 stars. It just, I don't know, it didn't really feel full 5 stars, but it felt very good. And I was just like, what? And then, of course, I read Powerless, which I don't have that book. I had it, but I lent it to a friend to read because it was another 5-star series. That's about the girl. It's about this girl who's considered an ordinary. She doesn't have powers, and like there's this society, this kingdom that's decided all ordinaries need to be killed. So there's an enforcer. I forget the names. Sorry. Because and the enforcer and her end up being a love interest. Like she ends up, like she lives in like the slums of the city, and one day the future enforcer is going through the city. Yeah, the future enforcer was going through the city because he had to banish somebody who wasn't ordinary, and who's the thief, sees him and goes, oh, he's gonna have a lot of coins, I need to take from him. So she does, without realizing he's the prince. Oh, not the prince, the future enforcer. Like, she doesn't know that, but like he has this ability to tell if they have like powers and what the power is and whatever. And she's like, he doesn't feel anything, but he's like, that's odd, I wonder what's going on. So like she tries to explain things away, and then she ends up in these trials, and these very interesting trials, and just a very good book overall. It just kept me interested. It did. I also read The Prison Healer, which I gave like 3.5, because the plot twist at the very end was good, but it had a lot of like stuff in the middle that I just like did not care as much about, and I was just like the action parts, yes, great. The parts without the action, I was not feeling at all. So 3.5 stars. The plot twist at the end did make me want to read the next book though, and I'm kind of sort of getting through that one, but we'll see. And that was all I read in the October and November, which honestly, that's a lot. Yep. But anyway, I had lots of fun doing it. So anyway, join me at my next video for my December, what I'm reading in December. Christmas, it's all Christmas books in December. Bye.